So, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever this lands with you. And yes, it's a super, super powerful day, time for everybody. And this moon is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is my sign. And funny enough, I'm feeling pretty good. Normally, when the sign is your sign, it can be very, very intense. And this moon specifically is all about change. It's all about completion, because when you get to a point and finish something, something else begins to happen. So this is a great time for chapters closing, for things to come to completion. So this has been in a cycle for the last 4 or 5 years. So if you feel like, oh, I've been the same, or this pattern keeps repeating, now is the time to close those doors, or finally say, yes, I'm ready for a new chapter, or I'm ready for a new way. And it's all about blooming. It's the flower moon. So it's all about blooming, opening, really showing your authentic self. Like, one flower doesn't try and be like another. If you have a daisy, it's not trying to be a rose, and vice versa. So it's about really owning. Sagittariuses are always paving their own way. They're not afraid to be different. So really allow yourself to hone that energy and become that, because you didn't come here to be someone else. You came here to be you. And that can be really scary sometimes, because it's like, oh, I want to fit in. I want to adhere to societal norms. But if we all start wearing the same thing or being the same person, it's very uniform and there's no variety. And that's what flowers are about. It's the variety, and the different smells, different textures, different colors. So where do you feel that you are becoming too conformed, or trying to be a certain way that is totally not you? And where can you be more unique, or just be more authentic, or express your authentic truth, especially in terms of relationships? If either platonic or romantic relationships, or even work dynamics, if you feel like things are just not fitting, is it because you're trying to fit in? Or where can you express yourself more to attract more people that are more in alignment with you? It's all about passion, fire, energy, especially if you've been feeling lethargic or stuck. Sagittarius energy is all about the fire element. So it's burning away any shackles, burning away any illusions, so that you can transform like the phoenix rising. What else is with this moon? So with full moons as well, they can be quite intense. So if they're shining the light on areas of your life that maybe you are ignoring, and nothing can hide in the full moon, because everything is illuminated. So don't be afraid to look at your shadow self. Full moons are always a great time to kind of look in the closet, or look in the places where you can kind of like, oh, I don't want to go near that pile. Now is the time to begin to sort out that pile. Because you want to be as free for the summer. Summertime is all about play and joy and fun and spontaneity. But if you have all this baggage and all of this stuff coming behind you, it's very hard to be free. It's very hard to dance without all of this stuff hopping off you. So really begin to say, okay, I'm ready to shed this, because this energy is all about the snake. And I used to be petrified of snakes. And it's like, snake is the kundalini, it's the serpent, it's the divine feminine. So a lot of the time, the things that we resist is the thing that we need most. So a snake is constantly shedding its skin. So it's like, okay, where can I let go or shed or become more open to what is? So hopefully that is landing. Hopefully that is resonating with you. And with full moons also, remember, there's a big pull on the tides, the oceans of the water. Tides rise, there's tsunamis, there's flooding. So don't be surprised if you are flooded with emotion, or things begin to bubble to the surface, especially with anger or frustration or, blown a gasket. It's very, very common, especially with fire energy, Sagittarius energy. So it's like, okay, how can I use my breath, or how can I use my practices, or how can I use my rituals to help me to not go to that place or not allow people to push my buttons. And remember, it's not the people pushing your buttons, it's them triggering something that is already within you, because we're always saying, oh, that person did that to me, or this happened. It's like, okay, this is a mirror, this is a reflection. Where do I have to go within myself to nurture those parts of me, or to soothe that inner child who's having a tantrum, or who's getting frustrated because she's not being heard? So every time you feel a trigger or something bubbling up, that's when you really, really need to look in the mirror, look inside and say, okay, how can I support myself? Because we're always looking outside of ourselves, and moons are a great time for reflection, because remember, the moon doesn't even have its own light. The moon gets the light from the sun. It's the reflective moonlight. So without the sun, the moon would be always in darkness. So it's like, okay, how can I shine that light, that illumination within me, and really and honestly go through those places and spaces within me that I normally ignore or push away, or try to sugarcoat or put some foil over it to make it temporarily illuminated. Because when we do the work, we radiate from the inside out. We mightn't have changed our hair or our makeup or our clothes, and people say, oh, there's something different about you, because you're working from the inside out. If we work from the outside in, that's not going to last very long. That's very, very temporary. And sometimes it does help to work from the outside in, because it's more tangible, it's more there on the surface. But if you want real lasting change, you have to go within and start from there, start from those seeds, start from those triggers, and then begin to slowly, slowly, slowly move outward. And yes, it can be scary, it can be challenging, it can be frustrating, but that work is the work that really, really has the permanent change. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see what's ahead with some cards. Get some more guidance. This could be a personal reading, it could be for the collective, or it mightn't resonate at all. So just take whatever it is that feels good for you and leave the rest. Okay, so send your energy, your intentions, your wishes, your questions into the deck. Take a deep breath in and exhale. So these are the Rebecca Campbell Healing Water cards. So all to do with the Divine Feminine, all to do with emotions. Oh, okay. So this is obviously always in alignment. So deep sea diving, way of the mystic, learn through experiencing depths. So this is the real time to go deep within. So if you see there, she's diving into the deeper depths of the ocean. So she's really going from the superficial layer. Like I was saying earlier, like if we work from the outside, we're going to be constantly repairing those superficial layers when the real core stuff is underneath. So she's going really, really deep, and look at how it's illuminated here. But if you turn it around the other way, it's a totally different perspective. So it depends on what way you are looking at things. Here she looks like she's ascending, and here she's looking like she's descending. So it really just depends on your perspective. But here she's just letting go. She's leading with her heart. She doesn't know exactly where she's going, but she's going towards the light, the portals, the opening. And with water, there's no resistance. So always go with the flow. Always allow yourself to go to the path of least resistance. Now, in saying that, if there is resistance, ask, is this for my highest good, or am I sabotaging myself? So sometimes we resist the things that we need most, like me and snakes. I was like, oh no, rejecting him, rejecting him. And the more work I started doing on myself, it's like, oh, I'm rejecting the Divine Feminine. I'm rejecting the Kundalini energy. I'm rejecting the rise. It's like, okay, that's what I need to embrace. I need to embrace the snake. I need to embrace the shedding, the death and the rebirth. So again, it all depends on the perspective. The next one then is let it rain, allowing what is inevitability and trust. So here she is in complete surrender. There's a storm happening all around her, but there's always a rainbow after the storm. So if you look here, it's like, yes, a lot going on here, a lot of storm, a lot of turbulence, but she's just allowing it to happen. Because a lot of us were like, okay, I'll do it when, life is calm, there's no chaos. When does that ever happen? You'll be waiting your whole entire lifetime. It's like, you need to grab your surfboard, your raincoat, your umbrella, and just get into it. Just get into it and then allow it to happen, allow it to pass over. And it's happening above her, below her, and within her. But what happens with a storm? Rain is super, super healing. They say rain is the most cleansing thing you can do for yourself, standing out in the rain and just allowing everything to dissolve. So whatever you're holding on to, what can you dissolve? And trust that this emotion, this storm is happening to clear. Because how good does it feel inside and outside when a storm clears? But if we're constantly resisting the storm will always be there. The next card is Mother of the Salt Waters, passion, wild love, open your heart and let love in. So this may be for anyone that's going through a breakup or somebody's like, no, I'm not ready for a relationship. It's like, if you keep saying that, you will never be ready. And they always say that love comes when you least expect it. So say, no, I'm not ready. No. You're putting that energy out there. And that partner could be circulating like, no, she's not open. She's not ready. Even if you're not saying anything, because remember, everything is energy, because we're trying to protect our heart, where it's like love and pain helps us to open our heart. So it's like, no matter what you're going through, remain with your heart open, because love is the highest vibration. And salt water, it's like, yes, when we leave our heart open, even after heartbreak, the salt water is going to sting. But what it is helping us to do is raise our vibration and also to heal those wounds. But if we're constantly closing, it's like we're keeping the plaster on and the air can't get in. The salt water can't get in to heal and to sterilize and to cleanse. And also when you think about it as well, if you look closely, you can see in her eyes, they're spraying. So allow the tears, allow the sacred waters of the world to run down your face. And it's like, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show your wounds. But if we're constantly protecting our heart, nothing can get in or out. And the last one then is into the unknown, underworld, depth, courage, and facing your fears. So this is huge, absolutely massive. My mentor said to me not so long ago about the terror barrier. It's like, oh, I'm ready to leap, but I'm terrified. So it's like you're at the edge of the metaphorical cliff, and it's like, I know the universe will catch me, but you must jump before you know that the universe is going to catch you, and your wings will come. So we can't see, she's resisting here of going into the depths. She's like pulling up her legs, like when you're dipping a child down in the water, they're like, no, I don't want to go. So it's like, go into the depths, go really deep, because past the fear is everything that you want. And fear is false evidence appearing real. It's just the mind and the ego preventing you from changing. Again, like me with the snake, it's like, oh, every time I think of the snake, I would shudder and I would be like, oh, they're disgusting, they're horrible. And it's like, do you know what the snake even means spiritually? And now every time I see them, I'm like, wow, they're so beautiful. Look at their scales, look how they move, look what they represent and mean. So there's always two sides to everything. So it's like, make sure that you're taking a 360 view of whatever it is that you're resisting, fearful of, and not looking at. So always take a 360 view, because it's very easy to look head on. But what about the back? What if you turned around and changed your perspective? And courage. Yes, this work, this path does take courage. So it's like, what have I got to lose? if I fail, that's okay. I learned. I can do things differently, and always have a beginner's mindset. Take all the pressure off. The only person that's judging you is you. Nobody else's opinions matter. But yeah, it's really, really about going deep, going within. So